All right, let's get in here. And then we're going to talk about natural consequences versus manipulation. Because you have to know the difference. You have to know the difference. First of all, if this is the first time you've been in one of my live streams, my name is Braille. I am the owner of the page. You're on the page of the Pedestal Wife Society. So let's talk about natural consequences versus manipulation. Manipulation is where you're trying to do something to get a specific outcome or reaction. Natural consequences is they have to deal with the consequences of their actions. They are not the same. Be able to identify those two different tactics because they are used in relationships every single day. A lot of the tactics that are given for relationship advice is manipulation, not natural consequences. A lot of times we don't know the difference because we are looking for a specific outcome or reaction out of our relationship. The easiest relationship to be a part of is a relationship that has natural consequences. If you have to manipulate a man to get a ring on your finger, baby girl, he don't want you. If you're trying to manipulate a man to get a specific outcome or reaction, he doesn't want you. You do not want to marry a man that you have to manipulate all the way to the altar. If you have to do that much and put that much energy in order to get a man to have a specific outcome or reaction from him, he doesn't want you. But no one is going to tell you that because that's going to lose subscribers. It's going to lose followers. People want that right now thing that they can do in order to better their relationship. But when you lean on manipulation, just be aware you have caused a series of events, which means that he is more than likely not into you. He's just not into you, and that is okay. So hopefully you have an understanding of this. Natural consequences is where a person has to deal with the consequences of their actions. Manipulation is where we have to do something to get a specific outcome or reaction. Know the difference between the two different tactics for relationships, because if you have to do a lot of manipulation in order to get a ring on your finger, he is not that into you. If you only thing you have to do is lean on natural consequences within the relationship, that is a green light. This means that the man is really into you and he's willing to do what it takes in order to make sure that you have a healthy relationship. So let's go into examples. How about that? Because I have been married for 21 years, going on 22 in August, and my relationship is natural consequences. I was raised with natural consequences. Let me give you an example of some of the things that my grandmother did in order to make sure that me as a kid had to deal with natural consequences coming up. One of the things that natural consequences does is that if you do a suggestions, I'm going to give you an example. My daughter, and I've done natural consequences also for my children, and I've seen the difference between them and other children. Children that have to, the natural consequences have to deal with the natural consequences of their actions. They learn, they grow, they learn to link to their own understanding, and they learn from the consequences of it. When my daughter was 7 years old, it was very cold. She's always been a little girl that loves dresses. She loves to put on her nice, cute little dress and be girly. But this day, it was very cold. And I said, hey, Brianna, it's very cold outside. You might want to put on a jacket. She looked right at me with her big, beautiful brown eyes and said, no, I'm going to wear a dress. And I don't want to wear a jacket at all. I want people to see my dress. If you, normally what women would do as a mother, they would say, hey, you're wearing this jacket anyway because it's cold. Or you're not wearing a dress because it's cold. You're going to put on some pants. Not I. I didn't do that. I let her go right on out here, and it was about 30 to 40 degree weather. I let her go to school in her cute little dress. Guess what? The next day when it was 30 to 40 degrees, she decided it's cold outside. I'm going to put on a jacket. That's natural consequences. Because of her deciding to go to school with no jacket, she was freezing all day long. And even when they had to go outside and play outside in the you know, they have like, what is it called? For kindergarten, when they have that time, they go outside and have a good time with other children. She got cold. She was shivering and very cold. She didn't want to go outside. She didn't want to be outside because it was a cold day. So the next day, she decided, I'm going to wear a jacket. I don't want to be cold anymore. That's natural consequences. If I would have decided, oh, she's going to have to wear a jacket because it's cold, then that is me taking away her consequence from her. And she may not learn anything. She may decide, I'm going to do it again the next day. I'm going to do it again the next day. Natural consequences help people to learn and grow, and you do not handicap a person when you allow them to learn on their own. Now, let's talk about it from a marriage perspective. How about that? In my marriage, I've been married 21 years. I have watched my husband lose a job. I have watched my husband be in the hospital. I have watched my husband go through a series of things over this 21-year marriage. Now, let's talk about natural consequences. One day, I had said, look, I need you to go and pick up me some grocery. There is nothing in here to cook. Well, there's nothing in here that you would like me to cook or to make sure that you have something to eat that is hearty when you come in. He said, I am too tired to go to the grocery store. Can't you just figure it out? Now, if I wasn't practicing natural consequence, I would be rumbling through the cabinets trying to find something quick to cook no matter what, because he needs to have a hearty, healthy, hot meal on the table. But me, I was taught natural consequences. So and since he didn't want to stop to the grocery store, he didn't want to get anything or pick up anything for us to eat, when he came through the door, what was I doing? Nothing. And he asked me simply, why isn't there any food to eat? You didn't pick up anything from the grocery store, so there wasn't anything to cook. That is natural consequences. This means when he came home, there was nothing to eat. He either had to order us something to eat, or he had to go pick up something to eat, or he had to go and pick up, or he had to figure it out. Because I had already decided, hey, there's nothing here to eat. There wasn't nothing I need to do. When people are not practicing natural consequences, they normally would go into the kitchen and try to find something to cook, regardless if it's nothing but beans. Or they will order something in order to make sure there's something on the table. See, I was raised with natural consequences. My grandmother was a very educated, feminine goddess. She taught me natural consequences growing up. We literally have to deal with the consequences of our actions. And it's very obvious a lot of people don't have to. A lot of people don't have to deal with the consequences of their actions because there's someone always available to fix, change, or take care of them if they made a bad decision. I operate in natural consequences. If you do something, I don't try to think of ways to get a different reaction or outcome. I let you deal with whatever you have to deal with. How can you differentiate that from pettiness? It wasn't pettiness because it wasn't nothing to eat. I asked him to pick up something for the grocery. He chose not to. And that means he has to deal with that consequence of having nothing to eat. It's just that simple. If you, when it comes down to pettiness, if you're doing something deliberately in order to get a reaction out of him, you're just being petty, then that's determined by the person. I don't operate in being petty. I don't do stuff just because I'm trying to get a lick back or get a hit back or get a response. Because pettiness to me is still up there with manipulation, where you're trying to get a response or outcome or some specific action. When you're dealing with natural consequences, it is because they didn't do something. That is the reason that happened. And they have to deal with that. They have to deal with the consequences of their action. That's exactly what that means. You have to actually monitor yourself to make sure you're not doing something out of spite, out of being petty, out of because you want a reaction, out of because you want something specific to happen for you to realize that maybe they should have did something. Natural consequences mean it just happened because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. It's just like this. Think about it like this. A natural consequence. If you chose not to pay your rent, what's going to happen? You might get kicked out. That's the consequence of your action of not paying your rent, of not taking care of your bills. And you have to look at it in the same similar fashion of when you're in a relationship. We have to know the difference. If we continue to manipulate within a relationship, realize he doesn't like you like that. And that is okay. You want to deal with someone, when you tell them once, then they are eager to take care of that situation. Now, if you, instead of, let's talk about the pettiness, because I like that comment. Thank you for that. Let's talk about the pettiness. Okay. If maybe he made a joke and you didn't like the fact that he made a joke, some of us will be very petty and start to do things to him because we're upset because he made a joke we didn't like. If we decided and when he made a joke, we just told him that we did not like the joke. A lot of us don't realize no one can read your mind. So let's take mind reading off the table and make sure that we're communicating our feelings and how we feel about things. So if a man makes a joke that you don't like, someone could possibly be petty and, maybe do something to him. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something very petty because, see, I don't operate on that level. I don't try to be petty to get something go. I don't do tick for tat. I don't do something because someone else did something to me. I don't say something because someone else did something to me. See, I was raised with natural consequences in the first place. I teach natural consequences and manipulation because I want you to know both. I want you to know when you're encountering someone who is dependent on you to, they're trying to get a reaction out of you. They want a specific outcome. And then I want you to know when you're dealing with someone who is just going to give you the consequences of your actions. They decided not to call you back because you showed no interest. That is a consequence. And that is what masculine energy does. A lot of times masculine energy responds better to natural consequences. They don't respond to this manipulation. They identify the manipulation and they usually move around. They can identify when a person is trying to force them to do something or get a specific outcome or reaction, and then they just stop dating them. They like women who will use natural consequences. A natural consequence for a masculine energy man is if he's dating you and maybe he is not giving you enough attention. This means you don't give him attention. It's not like it's not like he's calling or texting and you're not giving him attention. You're naturally not calling, texting, paying attention to him. You're naturally giving your attention to other men who've given you that attention back. And they respond to that. This means he realizes he messed up somewhere. She is not answering a phone call. She is not texting me. She is I can see her on social media, but I don't know what she's necessarily doing. But I want more of her attention, so I'm going to call her. I'm going to figure out what it is. Communication is the bridge. We need to realize, do not eliminate communication. Do not eliminate having a conversation with that person, because a person may have offended you, may have said something wrong, may have did something in particular, and they don't know that it's bothering you. So make sure that we have always communicated the issues first. That's one of the things that I see that is being taught to us, that talk to women as though that's something we don't need to do, that they should automatically know. That's not true. Men do not automatically know that we desire a specific thing. We need to communicate that. Now, once we've communicated that, then the natural consequence of that person not giving us attention, not taking us out on dates, not giving us gifts, means that we no longer give them our attention at all. We're not waiting on them to call us. We're not waiting on them to text us. We're giving our attention to the men who are. We're giving our attention to the men who are texting us, the men who are taking out us on dates, the men who are romancing us. That's a natural consequences of his action. Thank you for answering. I can see the difference. When you question, I'm assuming natural consequences don't occur if an apology has been placed. Being feminine means giving a space for them. Absolutely. Absolutely. To correct it. We have to know the difference, because a lot of the advice that's being given on social media is manipulation. And like I said, I will be the last person. I would literally be a hypocrite if I say that manipulation doesn't have a time and a place. But you don't want to be in a long-term relationship or marriage based off manipulation. Because manipulation just means that you have to be 2 to 3 or 4 steps ahead of the man that you're in a relationship with. When you deal with natural consequences, this means that person cares enough to want to please you, to want to get your validation, to get your attention. They want to romance you. They want to be there in a relationship with you. You do not want to manipulate a ring on your finger. Trust me, you don't want to manipulate a ring on your finger. I know plenty of women who've done that and they regret it to this day. And the thing is, once a man has figured out that he's kind of been manipulated or pushed in a corner to get that ring on the finger, then he starts to act out because he realizes this is not necessarily what I wanted at the time. So be very careful with manipulation. I'm not saying it doesn't have a time or a place. I would be a hypocrite if I said that, but I need you to understand the difference between natural consequences versus manipulation. Here's another example of natural consequences. I've been married a very long time. I have a lot of them. All right. I have a man that's very messy, who Why are they like that? Why are they very messy? I have a man that's very messy. And what happens is I have a hamper where it is supposed to be just for clothes and I am going to be washing for that week. I've already asked or communicated that I want him to put clothes in that particular hamper. What happens? He got busy, he forgets, and he doesn't do it, right? Natural consequence. Natural consequence would be I would go ahead and wash the clothes in that hamper. Any clothing that he decides to put in other places, those clothing would not be washed. That's natural consequences. This also means that he will have to deal with the consequences of his actions and having maybe no underwear, no socks, or no clean clothes. That is on him. And this doesn't mean with natural consequences, it doesn't mean that you go and have to tell him, oh, this is what's going to happen if you don't do this. That's not our job. See, natural consequences also is preventative of making sure that women don't try to fix and change, improve, or save a man from the consequences of his actions. That is the reason why I felt natural consequences have been a lot more helpful in my marriage versus trying any type of manipulation. Going on dates with a guy, it is okay to sometimes ignore their texts. He does call, but sometimes I feel bad for not replying to his texts all of the time. Going on a date with a guy, who is this guy and who is this guy to you? Who is this guy to you? Should he matter? Has he earned his position? Because don't get natural consequences versus manipulation confused, okay? Has he earned his position? Has he earned the right to take up some of your time? Who is this guy? I have to have more information before I can even advise on that. What do you think think of the book, The Rules? I have never read The Rules. I'll have to read it. Who's the author? Who's the author? Anyone knows I'm an avid reader. So if I know the author, I don't mind reading it and then talking about it later because I haven't read it. Sorry I got so many questions, but after an apology has been done, how long do you wait before acting with natural consequences? If apology has been done, why would you wait? If it's a sincere, genuine apology, why would you wait? It would only be manipulation if you have to wait. If it's a sincere, genuine apology from that person, why would you wait? Why would you keep the situation ongoing? If the goal is to move on and to be in a peaceful accord, why would you continue being why would you still have issues going with the other person? I don't get it. I'm confused. Explain it to me. Maybe I missed something. What are the best 3 steps to implement natural consequences? I think the better question to that is when you are out here making decisions about dating, what 3 things can leave you outside of natural consequences? Anytime that you find yourself in a position where you feel like you're going to fix something, change something, or cover it, not cover it, I want to use it, fix something, change something, or you feel like you're trying to save him from something, that is outside the bounds of natural consequences. Anytime you're practicing natural consequences in a relationship, you need to think, am I trying to fix this for this person? Am I trying to change this person? Or am I trying to save this person? If you're doing any of those 3 things, you're not in natural consequences. You want to make sure you keep those rules and those boundaries. That will help you keep yourself in those boundaries. Because when you're talking about steps, there really isn't. Because when it comes to natural consequences, it is the best way to keep you in ease and pleasure. If you want to be at ease, stop trying to fix someone. Stop trying to change people. Stop trying to save people. When you do all of those 3 things, you have an easy life. You have a soft life. Because you're not out here trying to waste your energy to save a man. You're not trying to waste your energy to fix him. You're not trying to waste your energy to change him. You know that he's going to have to deal with the natural consequences of his actions. And that means he's going to have to change because he's learned that when I do this, no one's coming to save me. No one's coming to fix it. No one's coming to change it. Now I have to deal with the consequences of my actions. And I am so happy that the feminine goddess that was my grandmother taught me this, because I'll be darned if it doesn't work on adults and children. When you start operating in natural consequences, it is less stress. You don't have to sit here and stress yourself out about being a great parent, because your kid will learn that she's not coming to cover for me. If I don't do what it takes, she's not coming to save me. I have to learn when I make a mistake and get it the first time. I don't have first time, second, third. I don't have all these chances to make mistakes because mama ain't coming to save me. And your husband will learn that the wife, she's not coming to save me if I lose my job. She's not going to go out here, put on the cape, put on the S, go get a second job. She's not doing any of these things to save me from my financial disaster. So I better have a backup to a backup to a backup to a backup. How do you think that I have been able to allow my husband to grow in his masculinity? We got married young. Natural consequences. I didn't try to go save him. I never tried to put on a cape because it didn't fit. It didn't fit. I never tried to go and fix it. I never tried to go and do anything behind the scenes to make it better. What I did is I sat back, I rested, and I was in ease. And I'm thankful for the lesson that she taught me, because by the time I came home, she was 60-something years old, and she was stressed out. She was tired of everybody. She was tired of everybody in her life because she had been taught to go about and nurture everybody and care for everybody and fix things for everybody and save everybody. And when she got to me, she said, baby girl, don't do it. She said, let people learn from their actions. Stop trying to save people. Let people learn from their consequences. And at the time, of course, I didn't know what natural consequences is. I was raised with it by her, and she elaborated on it with me when I got married. When he lost his job, okay, I was already spoiled. At 23 years old, this man bought me a brand new house. At 24, I had 2 new cars. At 25, he lost his great paying job. And we were sitting here, scaling back. We didn't lose our house or our car during that time. But everybody around me was telling me, hey, you need to get a job. You need to get out here and make some extra income and release the pressure of your husband so your husband doesn't do anything dramatic to get the money. And at first, I was really considering it. Because I would listen to my girlfriends. They was like, see, we told you that wasn't going to last forever. You was going to have to eventually get a job. You was going to have to get out there and start hustling and grinding like the rest of us. Before I went and applied to get a job, right? I went and talked to my Grammy. God bless her soul. I went and talked to her. And I asked her, I said, what do you think I should do? Because we are feeling all kinds of pressure. And he is like on the edge. He is so, angry and all these things because he's looking for a job. And, this place closed down. That's the best place to have a job in our area. We stayed in a small town. It was the best place. Like if you got there, you were set forever because that place provided that place pretty much gave plenty of people in our area the ability to buy homes, cars, vacation, everything. And he was blessed to be able to get there so young because most of the time they didn't hire young men like him. But he's always been a hard worker. He's always been a hustler. He's always been a grinder. Okay. I went to her and she said, baby, I've already been there. I've done that. Do not go out here and try to save him. When you try to save him and you release the pressure off him and he doesn't have to go out here and do the 100% like he's been doing all this time, he's going to fall back and he's going to do less. And I was like, so you don't think that I should get the job? She was like, no. She said, you should go. You got a little baby? And I was like, yeah, Mom. Yeah, Grandma, I got a little baby. And the baby is, I had just had a baby too. The baby was probably not even on the tip. Not even 6 months, y'all. She's like, you got a baby? Start focusing on the baby. Focus on the baby and what the baby needs and take care of the home. That's all you focus on. Let him get out of this hole himself. And I was like, are you sure, Grandma? You don't think I should be out here trying to help him and figure out how I can release some of the pressure and be a support system? She said, you can be a support system. That comes with encouragement, that comes with words, and that comes with inspiration. That doesn't come with going to do the physical labor for him. He will never learn. And she was like, he's very young. He's going to get used to your assistance and your help and you coming to save him, that when things happen, he's never going to be able to save himself. She said, you're going to handicap him. And I was like, you sure, Grandma? And she was like, yeah, that's what you do. So what I do, I went home. I took care of the baby. I took care of the house. I made sure it was peaceful when he came home. I didn't nag him. I didn't complain. I didn't try to emasculate him in his home. I made him feel good. We had fun. And he got 2 jobs to accommodate the bills and everything that we needed to. And we came out of that hole. And I learned something from that lesson. I learned natural consequences for the win. If you all keep coddling men, you're handicapping them. If you keep doing his half and trying to save him from his consequences, he's never going to level up and grow. Y'all all complain about childish men, but you're helping create them because you don't let them deal with their consequences. You try to save them. You try to fix it. You try to coddle him. You try to spoil him while he's doing it. Natural consequences. Natural consequences. Like I said, I would be a hypocrite if I said that I was against manipulation. I'm not. But I know that there's a time and a place for everything. Time and a place for everything. So you want natural consequences within your relationship. You want a man that's willing to do the work and grow and level up and mature mentally and emotionally. People ask me why I have such a conscious man. Why? It's because when he was going through the things that he was going through, I didn't try to go support the way. I allowed him to figure it out as a young man and be proud of himself when he realized I did that. My wife didn't do it. My mama didn't do it. My cousin didn't do it. My auntie didn't do it. I did that. So he can walk around with his head held high and his chest out because he's a man. My husband is a man. And I watched him grow into that role by having natural consequences in the relationship, which means he had to deal with the consequences of his action. I didn't try to figure out how to fix it. I didn't try to figure out how to save it. I didn't try to figure out how to help him prevent disaster. I didn't do any of these things. Even when it came to his, y'all remember 2008 from the crash in the stock market? I saw some of that coming, but stepping in all the time is not good for men. Sometimes you have to let them learn a lesson. Now, when he lost the stocks in 2008 for some of the, when it crashed and everything, he lost some money from it. Now he has insulated himself and built back and tripled these stocks, tripled the income because of the natural consequences. Think about if I've seen it and I say, oh yeah, y'all be trying to go out and save me. I don't save nobody. I have enough energy to save myself, and that's it. I save me and the children. I don't even think, honestly, I try to have them have natural consequences also because I was raised with it. And I feel like having natural consequences as a child has made me a better human being because I already know what can happen from something and I do what it takes to avoid those things. I don't just go head first into anything because I know natural consequences exist for me to deal with the consequences of my actions. And if you start doing that as a parent, you'll have better children. You'll have kids that actually think about the consequences of their actions instead of thinking that mom is coming to save me. My daughter is AG. She's taking college level courses, but she also gets a little lazy with her classes. So I remember when she didn't go, and I'm not even talking about, because y'all might get upset when I talk about I didn't have like bedtimes. I didn't have to do bedtimes. Why? Natural consequences. Didn't do them. Because if a kid doesn't go to bed on time, they tend to be tired the next day, right? Eventually they decide to go to bed on time because they don't want to be tired. Natural consequences. Most parents have a bedtime saying you got to go to bed at 9 o'clock. I don't have that. I've never had that. I never had that. I've let them learn what time they need to go to bed in order to get sufficient rest for their bodies. This way that they can be highly independent and they go to bed when they need to. I don't have to get anybody up. There's no alarm clocks in this house. We don't do them. Natural consequences. My grandmother taught me very young that you need to, before you go to bed, you think about what time you're going to get up, and you just get up. But that also, with natural consequences, also has the ability to get more in tune with your body and be very present. Natural consequences. You can use natural consequences in all areas of your life, and you will become a better human being. You'll become a better parent too. Your kids will be better people. But back to my daughter. She's AG. She has college level work. She has a tendency to procrastinate and not turn things on time. I remember she was like, Mom, can you call or text or send something to the teacher and get me more time so I can have some time to turn in the assignment? Natural consequence, absolutely not. If that means that you don't pass, you don't pass. You know why? Because when you get into college, you're not going to have me there to write letters or try to get up the professor to correct it or fix it for you. You have to learn how to fix these things yourself. So natural consequences, she doesn't procrastinate anymore. She gets all of her things in on time because she knows her mother is not going to write a letter for you to give you more time. Her mother is not going to cover for her to give her more time. It has made her better, an excellent student. Now she's ready for college. Now she can write, and she's going to excel in college because she knows how to complete deadlines, and she's only 16 years old. Natural consequences for the men. People become better human beings overall if we allow them to deal with the consequences of their actions. If we stop trying to save everybody, if we stop trying to put a cape on, if we stop trying to fix it, change it, make it better for people, you will see people level up. They will level up because they will get tired of having the same consequence over and over and over. Don't you think one of the reasons why people continue to go and jump on that hamster or that cycle of disaster every single time? Because they know that someone is going to save them. Over here, if you're dealing with me, you don't get saved. You'll learn how to save yourself. And we will have better men and we will have better women. We absolutely would. Better men and better women. I think that's a win. If you don't know anything about natural consequence, it has always been a thing that has been pushed. If you heard anything about Dr. Jordan Peterson, he promotes natural consequences. Natural consequences is the reason why, since some people haven't experienced natural consequences, that is the very reason why they're stuck at level 1. Every time that something has happened in their life, someone has saved them. When they didn't pay their rent, someone paid it. When they didn't take care of their child, someone took care of their child. So when they didn't take care of their life, someone came in and fixed it. Natural consequences. Natural consequences will bring about better people. And if you want to do that in relationships, every single time, stop trying to fix him, stop trying to change him, and stop trying to cover for him. And you will have a better man. And that goes for all wives. Step back and rest. Because I know you're tired. I know you are tired trying to figure out how to cover for him, how to fix it for him, how to make him a better man. That is not your job. If his mammy didn't do it, you shouldn't be trying to. And I learned that pretty early on. And he's a better man because of it. Because I didn't try to be his mother. I didn't try to fix him. I didn't try to put a super woman cape on and to save him. I didn't try to go in preventative mode. Because some of y'all be going in preventative mode. You try to do anything to prevent him from disaster. You try to do anything to prevent him from, not winning. I'm a different breed. Natural consequences. With me, you're going to learn. You're going to learn whatever you're doing. You're going to have to deal with the consequences of your actions. And I'm so happy that my grandmother taught me this. I'm glad that she gave me, growing up, it was so funny too a little bit because growing up, people thought that we didn't have enough structure. And with her, the way she raised us, all 5 of us are very successful and thriving. And in marriages and married, that goes for the guys too. We believe in marriage. We have all of our kids within marriage because we believe in it. But that's also natural consequences. We knew that you have to be responsible for your life. Whatever you have currently done, you can't blame. You have to take accountability. You have to realize it's the consequences of my own actions and the reason why I'm living the way I'm living. Natural consequences for the win. I think natural consequences are easy. Manipulation is hard. Manipulation is hard. This means you have to figure out how to get the reaction or outcome. That's the reason why y'all have so many questions about relationships. Because a lot of the majority of the advice that's being given on social media is manipulation. So you think you have to say something, do something in order to create some specific outcome or reaction. And you don't realize that natural consequences exist. And you want to be with a person who is going to respond well to a natural consequence. You do not want to be with a person that has to be manipulated in order to move or to create something or to make something or to build something. So you want a man that you got to manipulate for him to go and build a business. You want a man that you got to manipulate for him to go and take care of his family. Sounds like work to me. Sounds like you're just signing up for another form of slavery. And I don't do that. I like ease and pleasure. I like an easy, soft life. I don't want to sign up for a relationship where I got to sit here and constantly be 2 to 3, 4 steps ahead of you in order to get you to do the basic things like take care of us. I got to trick and manipulate you in order to provide. I got to trick and manipulate you to be a good husband. I got to trick and manipulate you to be a good father. That sounds overwhelming and sounds too much. And I can kind of understand. I got fruit flies. They drive me crazy. I need to get something to get rid of these fruit flies because I bought a lot of bananas and avocados and they on the thing and it's driving me crazy. Natural consequences for the win. Trust me when I tell you, you don't want to be in a relationship where you got to manipulate a person step by step in order to get anything done. And honestly, if you have to do that much, work and that much energy to be with that specific person, then don't be with him. Trust me, pick the easy life. Don't pick the life where you got to constantly be 2 to 3 or 4 steps ahead of him to get him to provide. Y'all, the advice that I hear or see today, it seems like everybody's trying to manipulate a man into being a provider. I want him to be a provider. I want him to be a man. I want him to be a manly man. I want him to want to provide for me and mine. I want him to look at me like I set the stars and I created the moon. I want him to look at me like I'm a goddess. But I'm not manipulating. I'm not doing that just to get a ring on my finger. And like I said, manipulation has its place, its time and place. If you are in relationships and you're trying to finesse, then you're going to need manipulation. If you're trying to get him to give money and I ain't going to say in the beginning, you might need to do a little bit of manipulation. If that's y'all know we got like sugar babies and all these different things out here. If you're trying to do that, yes, you're going to need manipulation. I don't like to do all that work. I guess I would be considered what they call lazy because I'm going to take the easy way every single time. I'm going to take the way, which means you have to deal with your natural consequences. Because you did something, you have to deal with that. But when you are trying to figure out how to get a specific person and you only have eyes for that one particular person, that's the reason why y'all so interested in manipulation. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about the reason why there's so much content around manipulation is because y'all are focused on one person. Y'all are focused on one particular man that you have your eye on, that you want him to treat you like a princess and you want him to want you. So you're so focused on how to get this man to call me back, text me back, take me out, treat me like a princess. You're trying to get those manipulative tactics to do that. And can it happen? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it can happen. The question shouldn't be is it going to happen? The question should be, should I want it? Because do you realize that if you have to do all of that for this man to see you as valuable and treat you as a princess, that you're going to have to continue that entire narrative for the rest of your life? Who got time for that? I don't got time for that. To me, that sounds exhausting, and I'm not doing it. Now, y'all girlies who want that particular man, yes, I can teach you that, and plenty of other platforms can teach you manipulative tactics to get that specific man. My question to you, do you want him? And why would you? Why would you want a man that you got to go ahead and jump through hoops to get his attention? I want the man who's looking at me like I am the goddess, that I'm a princess, that he wants to give and lay everything at my feet. That's the man I want. I don't want that man I got to persuade I got to trick. I got to deceive. I got to manipulate for him to even like me. We ain't doing that over here. I try to teach you ways so that you can get things naturally. Naturally is the word. Naturally is the word, because I want you to not have to work so hard to get attention, validation, love, security, safety. I want these things to come to you at ease. I don't want you to be stressed out, losing your edges, trying to figure out how to get a man. And that's where we are now. That is where we are currently. We're in the phase of, I'm watching so many platforms, just y'all gonna be stressed out. Y'all gonna be stressed out. Your edges is gonna be receding. You're gonna need a wig because you ain't got no hair underneath there. Because you're doing so much to get a specific man. Manipulation is it's gonna be harder on you than on him. Just realize that. It's gonna be harder on you to manipulate a person than it is gonna be on him. Why? Because you can be stressed out trying to figure out the next move. You're gonna be stressed out trying to make sure you make the right move. You're gonna be stressed out trying to make sure you say the right thing. And see, over here, I don't like perfection. It's not for me. I like imperfection. I know that the guy that I married, he's imperfectly perfect for me. And that is enough for me. I don't want him to be perfect. I think I answered that question. He's ticking the right boxes. We've gone on 2 dates, pays for all. Testing him after the second date to see how generous by presenting a problem to him. Absolutely. You're doing the right thing. Like, you're doing the right thing. Just keep down that path that you're doing currently. I don't see any reason why you would I would let everything flow naturally. Because like I said before, you want to make sure that you don't have to manipulate to get the relationship or commitment. Those girlies who are getting a relationship and commitment based off manipulation, they edges are receding. They tired. And that's why they be trying to figure out what's the next play. If you want to be like you playing football, then go ahead. Trust me when I tell you, I think you're doing the right thing. The best way to present, to test a man is to test him. Now, testing a man is not manipulation in the dating phase. So y'all don't get that confused. Don't think that, oh, I'm just gonna, I am not gonna test him. And honestly, when it comes to testing, there's different versions of testing. I don't know if y'all know. If you want to stick to observation, that is enough. A lot of times, you don't have to do anything further than observation. A lot of times what's happening is that women are not paying attention. They're so in love with the man, so they don't pay attention that, okay, this man is not generous. When we go out on dates, he don't want to pay a tip. He's asking me to put the tip. When we go out on a date, he's trying to take me for a 2-for-1. When we go on a date, he pulling out coupons. These things are very obvious that you don't even have to test for certain things. So we can literally just observe. Okay? And you don't have to actually create complicated questions to ask a man. Even though I help you with that too. Say if actions don't occur in a timely manner. What do you mean? Explain. Clarify a little bit. Okay? Because that means if it's a timely manner, that still indicates to me that you're still focused on one man. You're still focused on this person. If this person is not giving you attention, not taking you on dates, not spoiling you, not doing the things that you consider to be a good man for you, then the natural consequence is to not give that person any attention. It's to focus on other things in your life. Go out on dates. Live your life. Don't pay attention to that person. We get into the realm of manipulation is when we're trying to focus on one person, but this person is not focused on us. Then we want to figure out how to get him focused on us. So we want to do certain things to get his attention. So be very careful about his actions. Maybe if his actions are not in a timely manner, then he isn't the right one. He isn't the right one. Because trust me when I tell you, when a man wants you, he will come for you. When a man wants you, he will arrive in a timely manner. He will notice that you are living your life. You are having fun. You are going out on dates. You are hanging with your friends. He'll notice all these things and he'll want to do what it takes to correct the action. He'll want to call you and say, hey, did I do something that offend you? Did I do something that wasn't right? And then you can say something. How about this? When he did it, did y'all say something? When he did something that offended you, did you all communicate that he offended you? There's always a way to communicate things in a feminine way that's not triggering, that's not combative in the first place. My question is, when he did something that was not something that you liked in a relationship, did you say anything to him? Because women forget that the communication is the bridge. Have we said anything? Men cannot read your mind to determine if he offended you or not. Let's say he made a joke about your outfit. Instead of you sitting over there pouting and upset because he made that joke, you could say, hey, oh my gosh, feels, that really hurt my feelings. I like this outfit. It's very cute. I think I look good in it. But that hurt my feelings. I don't like that type of joke. And if he doesn't come immediately and try to apologize and say, hey, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. I didn't want you to feel that way. Sis, there is natural consequences. This means we stop trying to deal with that particular man. Because once you communicated what you desired or what was wrong and he ignored it, you should ignore him. You should leave him alone and date other men. My problem is when y'all get so focused on the person who did something and then you're trying to figure out how to get him to have a certain reaction or outcome. And that is manipulation. It depends on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to go for a long-term relationship or are you just trying to finesse him? I guess I better ask that. I think I better start asking that question. Are y'all trying to finesse the guy to get money? Or are you trying to get a long-term relationship? Because finessing, then you're going to manipulate, of course. Then long-term relationship, then you want natural consequences. You want someone who is there for you. And you're not manipulating him to get anything or anything, period. Testing him after our third date. What is this? These little things are getting my nerves. Testing him after our third date. Yes. The Rules by Ellen Feen and Sherry. Okay, let me write down. Give me a second, y'all. Let me write this down. Because I have to read it. I haven't read it. What is it about? Is it certain rules that they have in their marriage? Okay, the book she gives you on how to date men in order to get married. Okay. I'm ready to read it because it's hard to find a book that, y'all know, the hardest thing that I've found reading relationship books is that it's hard to find a relationship book that talks just about provider relationships. That is the hardest part. And the one that I have personally, it's easy to find a book that talks about masculine and feminine energy, but then they tend to lean towards 50-50. If you don't know, I'm not 50-50. My husband is a provider. He pays 100%. Absolutely. He is the man of his house, the man in his castle, and I treat him as such. What would be a natural consequence for a man not calling you when expected? You not concerned and you're dating, living your life. That would be the natural consequences. The thing is, remember, natural consequences, you're not sitting here thinking of things to do to that person to get an outcome or expectation. If you are doing that, that is manipulation. Natural consequences is he has to live out the consequences of his actions. So this means you wouldn't do anything. See how easy natural consequences are? You don't do anything, y'all. Don't get it confused between manipulation and natural consequences. If this man did not call you when you expect him to call, you wouldn't be concerned about calling him or waiting on his phone call or doing anything to get him to call you. You would just go about your life. You're going to call and talk to other people. You're not going to be worried about him because this means he has shown you that he's not showing interest. So a man not showing interest, you would move around and give other men more attention and more time and spend more time living your life. So you don't really do anything. And that also goes for answering his phone call. This means when he called, you're not answering the phone. You don't answer his text. You don't answer his calls. You don't answer anything. That is natural consequences. This means that since he did not call you on time, which y'all, I'm going to tell you right now, that's a very strict rule to have for yourself. But That's a very strict rule to have because anything can happen. What if the man was in an accident? What if he had an emergency that happened? So that's a very strict rule to have. I think instead of worried about natural consequences or manipulation, just talk to the man and tell him you don't like the fact that he didn't call on time. Let him communicate to you that either he didn't call on time because he had an emergency, or he didn't call on time because he don't care. And the natural consequences of that is that you no longer focus on that particular man and move on to the rest of them, depending on what he communicates to you. Trust me, the natural consequence. Let's say it again. Say it with me now. Easy. You don't do anything. You don't think of something you have to do to him to get a reaction or outcome. That is manipulation. Natural consequences. He has to deal with the consequences of his actions. This means if he misses a phone call, you should still, like I said, that's a harsh line to draw in the sand, and I would never draw that one in the sand. I think that's too harsh. You don't know if he had an accident. What if the man in the hospital? What if he missed your call because he in the hospital? And you done started playing games with him on the phone and playing games with him. Like, stop. That's manipulation. Y'all, that's a harsh line in the sand. We need to have our rules a little differently there. So, if he didn't communicate to him that you were waiting on his phone call, you were disappointed that he didn't call you on time. Fine. And then listen to what he says. If the man gives you any indicator that he didn't care, that he just, that's what he did, or that's what happens, or you just gonna have to deal with it, that means it's time for you to leave him alone and start talking to other men and living your life, because that man is not it. If you had helped him, do you think he would eventually resent you in addition to what your grandma said? I think that he would have got complacent and lazy. Because I see it y'all have to realize, I don't watch other marriages, not just my own. I think that if I would have got my superwoman cape on and went out and tried to help him, I think he would have got complacent. I think he would have got lazy. I think he would have fell back. I think our standards of living would have suffered because of the fact that we would have both been working, and some of that money would have went to daycare. So all of that going on, I don't think he would have ever got back to the level of taking care of us by himself. And so I'm happy that I listened to her. Thank God for her. God bless that woman. Rest her soul. Rest her soul. Because she's no longer here anymore. But I'm so happy that she taught me so much. Because it has been so beneficial in my relationship. And also helping other women with their relationships. But I think he would have got complacent. And I think that's what men are today. Men are complacent because women are doing half of the work. That is why do y'all realize that masculinity is suffering? Do y'all realize that in China they're doing studies to get masculinity back? They're trying to figure out, why are men no longer masculine? Why? I can tell you why. Because you got too many women that really go out here and do 50-50 with a man. You got too many women out here trying to figure out how to prove or how to earn or how to save a man from his consequences. You got grown men living with their mama, having a roof over their head. When I was actually growing up, my grandmother taught me that if a man did not work, baby, he did not eat. And if he did not work, he did not live. If he did not work, he don't got a roof. If he did not work and bring some coins into that home, he suffered. And that's old school thinking. Thank God for her. Thank God for her. Because I see too many women sheltering broke and broken men. And so they are broken and they're not trying to change or grow or level up. So that's what we're dealing with. Masculinity is suffering because everybody is trying to assist. And if you want masculinity to grow, evolve, and level up, you have to let that person have natural consequences to the actions. And that goes if you're a parent of a boy, and guess what? I have boys too. My oldest is 21. My youngest boy is 20. And natural consequences. If they don't pay their bills, we're not paying them. They're going to lose out on everything they have. Don't pay their bills because we're not paying not one bill, not NIDA, ADA, no bills. Why? Because you have to learn that if you don't take care of your business, you don't take care of your bills, you're going to lose something from it. Your grandma's a smart woman. Yes, She was absolutely very intelligent. And let me tell you another thing, then I'll move on to maybe some more examples for natural consequences. Y'all, one of the things I loved about that woman, she wasn't a liar. You know why I said she wasn't a liar? Because she did not have the best marriage. She married a man who was who gave. Well, I don't want to put a business out there, even though she's not alive. But I'm going to say this: she wasn't a liar about her marriage. She wasn't this woman that says, if you go ahead and do this, my marriage is wonderful. If you go ahead and help a man, it still worked out. My grandma told me all or nothing but the honest truth. She talked about the fact when she stepped in for grandpa and how it went to disaster, how she lost things behind it. I love the fact that she was honest to me, because I truly do believe our elders, they're not honest. They're not telling you the truth of the matter when you go out and help a man. They're not telling you the truth of the matter, how they gave all and invested into this man. That man flim-flammed her. They're not telling the truth of it. My grandma was very honest. She told me what would happen if I did this or that. She talked to me. I have so many stories when she talked to me about how she tried to help grandpa with my grandpa owned a little mini grocery store, right? Okay, and you would think grocery store, oh, he had money. No, you know why he didn't have any money? Because he was too busy out there slanging it west and slanging it east. So she taught me the truth of the matter and told me the truth of her marriage instead of lying to me, saying, oh, grandpa was a provider, he was taking care of me. Some moms are lying to their daughters. They're not telling the truth about marriage and what they done and what mistakes they done made. My grandma told me the truth. She told me about how she saved the store, and only thing he did was kept getting the store in debt. She always wished she would have stayed away from it and stopped stepping in and helping save the store. Then maybe we would have a store. We would have a store. But since she didn't learn her lesson the first time, she kept trying to think. And also she listened to people who didn't know any better. She listened to her family members who told her to step in and help. And she did. And he lost the store. We absolutely own the land, but for somehow or another, we lost the store where the land is owned. So now we own the land, but the other people who bought the store own the store. Y'all make that make sense, but because, child, I can't. All I know is that she told me what she wished she did. And I took into, I didn't ignore her. I listened to her. Because her stories were so entertaining. But I learned from her also. I learned what I didn't want in a marriage. And I love her for being honest. Some women are honest. They sitting here lying, talking about they can do it all. And they've been doing it all. And they don't mind 50-50. Where they over there tired, looking raggedy, edges falling out. That man over there got her stressed out. She can't even take care of herself. But she over there talking about, oh, well, yeah, 50-50 is the way to go. I can't do 100%. Y'all sit here and let these women tell y'all anything. They don't know how to tell the truth. One of the expressions my grandma taught me is, tell the truth, shame the devil. She told you all her stories. She never once tried to make grandpa seem like this great man. And I loved him. He absolutely adored and doted me on. But I knew the real him because my grandmother didn't lie to me about who he truly was. And that is what women do. They lie to people about who that man is that they're dealing with. So she absolutely was a smart woman, a feminine goddess, absolutely. Because she suffered so I could live. Wow, that's amazing. Absolutely. She was an awesome woman. Unfortunately, that's how my mom is. Absolutely. Do y'all know that when I posted something on TikTok about not signing up for 50-50, and a young woman in my thing said that she wished that she never signed up. And I feel for her. And I know why she signed up, because a lot of women don't tell the truth of what they deal with when they do 50-50. They don't tell the truth of where they don't have time for themselves. They don't tell the truth where they don't have time to spend with their kids. They don't tell the truth about missing awards for their children. They don't tell the truth about not having any time for self-care. They don't tell the truth about the entire marriage. They don't tell the truth about how they had to sit in for him because he's emotionally immature. They don't tell the truth about how they've always had to make him look good to the kids because he ain't crap. They just don't tell the truth. And I love the fact that she told me the truth. She literally told me all of her dirty laundry. She told me everything about her marriage. We have heard some horror stories, and that is what helped us do better. She told us literally, I'm telling you this so that you can do better. I'm telling you this because you want a man to look at you as though you're a princess, you're a goddess, that they want to do these things. She said, I spent my entire marriage trying to manipulate, trying to get him to be better, force him to be a man, force him to be a father, force him to be a provider. And all it did was backfire on her. Is there any books, YouTube channels we can watch on natural consequences? I literally did a video on my own page on YouTube yesterday. I talk about loving detachment. That's the beginning. Can you please save this video? I need to take the notes. Y'all, my videos don't ever be saved on Instagram. They always saved on my YouTube page. I'm going to put this on YouTube. It sounds like natural consequences sort of positive reinforcements. It is. It is. It absolutely is. And it works. Natural consequences is positive reinforcement. I know that's right. My time is precious, especially with me being in the prime of my reproducing years. Absolutely. And you should think of, like, especially some of you all who haven't had any babies yet. And if you have had some babies, utilize natural consequences so that you can help to have a child that is a thinker and that is going to be responsible for their actions. They're not going to look to you to fix things that they cause. No, this person takes me on dates, pays for everything, but I'm more worried on how long do you wait after an apology for it to be corrected? Right away, a week, etc. What is the correction? What is the correction that we're looking for with the apology? Because you're looking for apology and then you're looking for them to correct. Why? What are we correcting? That's what I like I said, I definitely, that's what I'm missing. I'm missing, what are you looking for him to correct? Because usually apologies mean nothing. I don't care about apologies. I don't care about apologies. I don't care about someone saying I'm sorry, because I would prefer your action versus an apology. So what are we talking about here? Because I'm curious to know. Right, moving on is really that simple. Yes, I think some people don't realize you don't have to. There's billions and billions of people on the earth. You do not have to focus on one person and want them to correct their actions when they're not wanting to. When they don't want to correct their actions, they don't want to do what it takes to keep you in their life, then maybe it is better to move around. Yes, it was communicated. He held himself accountable and apologized. But how long do women wait to see change action? We don't wait. If you don't see change action immediately, you're going to move around with somebody else. See, this is the reason why I absolutely do prefer when women do rotational dating, because then you're not focused on one particular individual. So at this point, I'm kind of curious, what did he do that's requiring an apology and for a action change? With anytime a woman says, I want his action to change, this means he's already done something unconscionable and something he should have did in the first place. Honestly, it sounds like that man need to be dumped. But hey, I will need more information because it sounds like we're still missing something here. If he doesn't call you, he loses. Absolutely. If he doesn't call you, he loses access. You don't worry about, when he texts, then I'm not going to text him back. Or when he call, I got something else I'm busy doing. You just ignore and move around. Natural consequences, people will fall off your rotation when they're not giving you attention, not taking you out, not treating you like the prize. It's a whole lot easier than trying to rely on manipulation. What do you say to a girlfriend that believes she wants to pay 50-50 on the home so she can have half the house if they don't work out? Y'all, you never go and buy property with a man you're not married with. And even then, let me tell you a little tip that I've learned as an investor myself. You don't want your name on the loan deeds. You don't want your name on the loan. You want your name on the deeds. That's a little investing tip. Even once you're married, you do not want your name on the loan. You want your name on the deed. Why? Because this means that you're free to invest and create income and build your own wealth on the side. So as a woman, tell her that she doesn't want her name on any type of loan with a man, because it's going to prevent her from investing in other areas. That is what you can do for her, because if she is already interested in 50-50, don't y'all know that a lot of women, you cannot persuade them that 50-50 is not the way to go. They think that if I do 50-50, this is going to prevent me from experiencing heartbreak or me from experiencing financial ruin. And it does if you're not doing it correctly. That is the reason why I started my page, because my husband is 100% provider, which also means that I have the money and ability to invest in other areas of life. So you don't want your name on any loan because you want the ability to invest and build your own wealth. Tell her that's going to prevent her from building her own wealth. Okay, that might help her, because I don't think she cares about the relationship aspect of it all, or she would never say she can go 50-50 on a home. A woman should never buy a home with a man that she's not married to. Not ever. Because all it means is that something happens, she's going to have to take him to court. Then it's become all legal. And that may not work like she thinks. That she might not get any money from the house. It depends on if the house is upside down. It depends on if the house has equity. There's a lot of things that could prevent her from even getting half of the house. So that's not a good plan. Going 50-50 with somebody to prevent them from, if they don't work out, you get half of the house. She may not even get half of the house. Tell her that. Tell her that from someone who invests in stuff like that. She may not get half of the house. If the house is upside down, there's no equity. She may not get anything, even if she does go half with the man for the house. What do you think about mothers who allow their grown sons to live with them and not pay any bills? They are preventing and handicapping masculinity. A man that doesn't go out and work should not eat. A man that doesn't bring in money should not be eating. A man that doesn't bring in money should not have a roof over his head. A man that does not bring in money should not have comfort. A man that does not bring in money should not be protected from the elements. A man that does not bring in money should have a tent in the backyard. Ask me how I know. Trust me, a man that doesn't learn these lessons early will depend on others to correct their mistakes or depend and lean on other people. How can you all have a leader if he don't know how to lean to his own understanding? You can't have leaders in that manner. You cannot have leaders that don't depend on themselves. And if you continue to coddle them, you won't have leaders. You will have people that are looking for a handout or looking for help or assistance. And I know that sounds a little harsh, but if you are raising boys and you want them to be providers and be leaders, they're going to have to have natural consequences for their actions. You can't go saving them even if they're not able to afford their life. This means maybe a tent in the backyard, maybe a trailer in the backyard, maybe something they can't enter the home until they have actually created a way to make money. Thank you for saving it on YouTube. So glad I found today. My mom and grandma did go through a lot and never learned or taught these lessons. It's worth a lot to hear this so directly. You're welcome. You're welcome, y'all. That's why I do what I do. Because trust me, I could be on vacation, and I'm getting ready to go on vacation too. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be going on vacation. I love the summertime. Summertime is my time. Wintertime, I'm going in the house and I'm like a bear. I hibernate during the winter. Summertime, I'm about to be out in the streets. We're going out tonight, matter of fact. We're going out to dinner, movies, and we got a lot of stuff planned this evening. Today is family day. Usually I don't even do a live stream on Saturday because today is family day. But I decided to do one because I posted a video about natural consequences and I saw the confusion. And I'm like, wow, y'all are super confused. And then the pedestal wife reached out to me and said, hey, does this mean do this? No, natural consequences are easy. You don't do anything. They told me they were going to be busy previously, but day of, they didn't communicate it. It slipped my mind. Okay, they told me they were going to be busy previously, but the day of, they didn't communicate it. Okay, so why are they apologizing then? I'm confused. If they told you you were going to be, if he told you he was going to be busy, what is he apologizing for again? What is he apologizing for again? Because I'm confused. Because if he told you previously, he doesn't have to repeat himself. So I'm not sure. There's something missing from the story, I guess. She isn't convinced that if you don't put down money on the house, that she won't be able to put her name on the deed. She isn't convinced that if you don't put money down on the house, then she won't be able to put her name on the deed. So she's trying to put money down on a house for him and her, and they're unmarried. Y'all, that's a disaster. Don't do that. Do not do that. And honestly, any man that allows you to put down money and he not put anything down on the house, he is already using you. He's going to use her. Like this right here sounds very, very going down one path that I already have heard of. I've heard this story over and over and again. He is using her because why isn't he putting the money down? If she's trying to put her name on the deed because she wants to make sure that the house is half hers, why is she putting money down also? This is not, that's definitely 50-50 for behavior right there. And I don't think, honestly, I don't think there's no way you can persuade her. There's some women, y'all know we can't save every woman. Some women get very turned off when I tell them about you need to be provided for. You might can't save her. She might have to experience the natural consequences of signing for a house for a man, then realizing later on that it wasn't a great idea. You can mention it to her, but if she's gung-ho to do it, leave her alone. Let her learn natural consequences of her actions. Because they disappeared the day of. Didn't remind, girl, he told you the day before. That's all he had to do. If he told you, he gave you warning that, hey, I'm not going to be available tomorrow, he doesn't need to give you a reminder of that. I don't understand what he's apologizing for. That doesn't sound like a situation to apologize for. Like I said, unless there's some missing pieces to this story, it doesn't sound like he did anything wrong. Some women believe that no man would never allow you to put your name on the deed unless you pay half. If he loves you, why wouldn't he? Absolutely. When a married couple gets together and she doesn't want to be on the loan, she can put her name on the deed. She can put her name on the land. I've never wanted my name on a loan because I want to be and invest my money in other areas. Currently, I have probably like 3 streams of income. I will never, ever, I would never lose anything if me and my husband wasn't, if we decided, hey, we don't want to be together anymore, I would still be living the same lifestyle. I would still go on vacation when I want to. I would still be able to live in my house. I would still be able to do any and everything I want to do because I'm actually independent, wealthy also, just like he is. But that's doing it right. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to get one of these men who are providers and giving you provision and you blow it all on bags and clothes and trips and cars and houses. You should be making sure some of that money is going into account and growing and investing and creating new streams of income so that you can live the same lifestyle regardless if he live, he die, he leave you, he decide to stay by or anything. And that is how you do it. Women out here are not doing it correctly. That's the reason why they're not winning when they're being provided for. So remember, manipulation is where you're trying to figure out how to get a reaction to the outcome or expectation. Natural consequences, it means that person has to deal with the consequences of their actions. It's just that simple, which means natural consequences, you're not doing anything to them. You're usually just doing something for yourself. That's all you're doing. You're doing something for yourself. If he doesn't call you, natural consequences mean that you're going to focus on everything else in your life. You're going to focus on other people in your life. You're focused on other people you're dating. Have fun. You're not going to be concerned about the person who didn't call you. You're not going to play games on his phone. That's manipulation. Know the difference so you can utilize them when needed. Natural consequences is easy. Everybody can do it. People grow from natural consequences. If I don't take care of myself, I know what the consequence is of that. That means I may get sick. That means I'm not going to feel as good about myself. That means I'm going to see myself differently. That is the consequences of my own actions. If you live with natural consequences, you become a better human. You get better at the things you're doing. But if you're manipulative, you're going to be stressed out. Because you're always going to have to be 2 to 3 steps ahead trying to figure out how to get some kind of specific outcome or reaction. So know which game you're playing. What if a man feels like he can chuck you out of the house if you aren't contributing financially towards the home? Do it. Do it. Why? Why would I say do it? Because I got my own money. Do it. Do it, because then I'm going to get your half too. If that happens, that happens. You're not concerned when you do your due diligence and you make sure you take care of you and you put you first. When you're not out here trying to save everybody else and you're trying to make sure you're saved, you don't have to worry about those type of consequences. So if a man feels like he can chuck me out of the house that I am on the deed for, it's absolutely my house. Just because I'm not on the loan don't mean I don't own the house too. I own the house also. Okay, when he goes to sell it or anything of that nature, he has to get my signature. So I own it also. But if he decides, hey, I want you gone, do it. I would pack up and leave. You know why? Because he's going to have to deal with natural consequences of me not being in his life. And baby, I'm worth it. And I know I'm worth it. So I would gladly walk away. Because I can take care of myself. I can take care of myself. I can live the same lifestyle. Either he provides it or I can provide it. But I know that I am the it girl. I am that girl. I'm the princess in his eyes. So he's willingly to pay full. And I'm not concerned or worried about him doing that. But if he falls down and gets himself knocked out, or he loses his mind and decides to do these things, I'll willingly leave. Because I know I'll get all of or half of everything that he has, including half of the house. If there's anything, well, of course, my house, there's equity. So I will get half of it. But I would still be able to just buy another house. Since we moved differently over here, I don't have to worry about the consequence of what he's doing because I can always take care of myself. I have coins too, and my coins are very long. But you don't hear me on my page talking about those things because it don't matter. I'm still a provided for woman. I don't spend mine. I spend his. Makes total sense. If he doesn't allow you to put your name on the deed because the woman isn't contributing financially, we should walk away. Absolutely. You should. If you're married, you should walk away. If you're not, I wouldn't put my name on anything. You're not going to have me responsible for anything. I don't care what it is. I'm not signing my name. If we're just boyfriend and girlfriend, which I hate that because it's not even a relationship status. I hate boyfriend and girlfriend. But if y'all was boyfriend and girlfriend, I'm not signing my name to anything. Always love yourself so much that you have your coins. Y'all don't get so spoiled that you're provided for that you don't put money aside for any and everything. That you forget to invest. Never forget to invest. Invest in things that are going to be income producing. So you're always going to have income regardless. I don't know what this whole push is of not having any income. I don't work, but I do have income. You can still do it the easy way. You don't have to go out here and hustle and grind. I don't do any of those things. I'm allergic to hustling and grinding, but I'm not allergic to investing. I'm not allergic to investing into some stocks. I'm not allergic into investing into real estate. I'm not allergic into investing into income producing assets. So instead of sitting here out here trying to get labels and being a label whore out here and trying to stunt on the gram, y'all better be stunting in your bank accounts. I stunt there. That is what I love. I love the things that fold and not the things that jingle. So always make sure that regardless if you get in a situation where your man is taking care of you 100%, make sure that you're investing something somewhere. You don't have to hustle and grind like you hear these women out here. See, they do it the hard way. I do it the easy way, which means I invest in stocks. I have CODs. I have REITs. I have different ways that are income producing. I literally have 3 streams of income by myself. And you should too. And they're easy streams of income that you don't have to sit here and stress about. Make your money work for you. You don't have to go out here and work for the money. Make the money work for you. So don't get so scared when you see these people talking about, oh, well, she was in a relationship and she was left with nothing. Trust me when I tell you, if this 21 years marriage was to end, I could still stay in this house, continue to take care of everything that he is paying for and more, continue to go on vacation every 3 months like I'd like to do. I would continue to live the same lifestyle because I can afford the lifestyle that I live. That's another thing that my grandmother taught me. She taught me to make my money work for me. To have income producing assets that I will never, ever be broke. Ever. Ever in life, I will never be broke. And since he pays for everything, I have the ability to invest. And you should too. What they're telling you to do is to do it in a way where y'all will be in poverty forever. Working is poverty. A paycheck will get you no further than poverty. Income producing assets, you'll start to build wealth. One thing is I know men, I know money. And I made that mistake myself. When I first got married, my husband bought me a new house at 23. I was super spoiled. The money he gave me, I just went through it. I was spending it. I had my closet. Y'all, the closets that y'all have now on Instagram want nothing to the closet I had. I don't have that closet anymore because I tend to use my coins into income producing assets. I don't put them in stuff that I can't sell or make money off of. So I will not be buying labels that don't appreciate. If the label depreciates, I won't buy it because I want to be able to take any of my things that I am getting from my marriage and I want to be able to take it and make money off of it. That's income producing. Oh, And Chanel appreciates. Gucci doesn't. Just to let you all know. There are certain labels that can make you money. So if he's buying you those labels, take very good care of them so that you can use them or utilize them to sell later if you need to. Remember, we do not work hard. We work smart. All right, I don't see any other questions, so I am going to get ready to go to lunch and do family things before my daughter start coming in here acting silly because I'm on a live stream, which I'm not supposed to be. But I needed to correct the natural consequences versus manipulation. I need to make sure you all have a great understanding of it. I'm going to post this video on my YouTube page. If you don't know, I have a YouTube where I teach all of this. And I know that I don't post a lot of I really do not post all of the stuff that I get from my girls who have success in relationships. I don't do that. Why? Because I teach my women privacy. I teach them privacy. So when they get the ring on their finger, you won't ever see it on my page. But trust me when I tell you, pedestal wives, they have rings on their fingers from working with me. They know how to date rotationally from working with me. They are very successful from working with me. I don't post it because I've taught them to move in silence. We don't post reviews, but if you want to Google the Pedestal Wife Society, baby, I'm on Google. You can go look at my reviews there. You can go look at the success that my girls have. You won't hear a bad thing about my platform because we move in silence. Those women are definitely being provided for, have rings on their fingers, and they are living their best. They're living the best life they can possibly live. So I'm going to go enjoy my Saturday. Hopefully you